As we welcome you live to the Mustang Corral here at Edgewood High School, Ellettsville, Indiana, for tonight's girls and boys varsity doubleheader between the Cloverdale Clovers and the Edgewood Mustangs. Glad you could join us for Edgewood Mustang Basketball and Smithville Sports alongside Jeremy Nutter. I am Nick Jenkinson, and Jeremy, Edgewood comes in 6-2 tonight, but now a familiar face returns to the sidelines after a one-year absence as Gary Sims is back coaching this Edgewood ball club.
Yeah, and it definitely shows because there definitely is a difference in the team this year. Last year, I know there was a lot of struggle, a lot of build-up because they were a younger team. But this year, yeah, they're 6-3, doing a lot better. Winning record's always nice to have, always builds the confidence. So, yeah, I'm excited to see what the difference is because I remember seeing them last year playing and doing okay. A lot of trouble with the free throw lines. So hopefully, that may change a lot this year.
4-21 record a season ago, lost to Owen Valley in the first round of sectionals, 67-32. It's a team offensively that always has struggled. They averaged last year 39 points a game. This year, up to 44.6 so far through 8 games. Yeah. Defensively last year, they gave up 50 points a game. This year, right now, 41.5, and Coach Sims always preaches defense.
Yeah, we were talking about this before the game, and yeah, defense was something that was not necessarily too prevalent last year. We saw more of a free-flowing game, and it was whoever could score more, and they, unfortunately, as you kind of said, weren't probably the best at scoring in the games that they played in. So definitely cool to see that they improved their scoring while also improving that defense. So that's always nice whenever that number is lower than the number of points you score because that wins you games.
Looking at Cloverdale, they are 5-3. They lost the other night to North Putnam 59-51. It's the second time they played North Putnam because they played them November 23rd in the Putnam County tournament and beat them 28-27. It's a Cloverdale team that won the Western Indiana Conference last year, 3 straight winning seasons. They were 22-4, lost to Western Boone 62-56 in the sectional championship game. But this Cloverdale team is on the way up under Matthew Langdon as we are going to do the national anthem here before this boys and girls doubleheader. As the national anthem has been played, as we were talking about Cloverdale, Jeremy, this is a program that, again, the last 3 winning seasons they've had, and they're looking for another, and they're loaded with a big senior class.
Number 11,
yeah.
senior. Number 11.
As we see them getting introduced now.
Yeah, their starting lineup, this goes Sammy Schrum, 5'8", senior, wearing 11. Cassie Wade, 5'8", senior, wearing number 21. Haley Thomas is 5'5", and the senior, wearing 32. Madison Shoemaker, 5'7", senior, forward. And then Lakin Price, a 5'7", senior for the Clovers under Matthew Langdon, 91 and 100 in his 9th year at the school, 3 straight winning seasons. And again, they're looking for a 4th straight winning season.
Agar, a senior. Number
Yeah.
12, Shelby
As we look at the
Anderson.
Edgewood Mustangs, you see number 12, Shelby Anderson,
At guard,
a 5'6"
sophomore.
senior.
Number 13, Carly Sherfield.
Carly Sherfield, she has a twin sister, Claire, 5'6" sophomore. Older sister, Erin, played here a couple years ago. Allie Spear, a 5'6" senior.
At guard, a junior. Number 23,
Taylor Minnick, a 5'5" junior, a heck of a softball player, already a verbal commit to the University of Tennessee. And then you see the freshman, Caden Harrington, 6'2" freshman. We will see her older brother, Parker Harrington, in the boys game.
Yeah, and I think you're definitely going to see a difference here of the one X factor, and it's her in this game because she has the height here. And so whenever we go ahead and begin this game, definitely going to see an interesting battle down low.
As it's going to be Harrington and Lakin Price to jump, and Edgewood controls the tip. So the Mustangs have it. This is Allie Spear. It goes right to the basket. It's blocked, but Caden Harrington gets the loose ball. Shelby Anderson's going to fire a three. It is off the mark, and it is a foul on Edgewood to start this game.
And we see an outside shot at the beginning, which is interesting whenever you have that inside presence not to test the inside, so maybe they'll do that later.
Allie Spear with the foul. That's her first, the team's first, and now you see Edgewood's going to bring that full court pressure against the Clovers. That was a dangerous pass, and Cloverdale stepped out of bounds.
And it seems as though that the Cloverdale definitely playing with a lot of pace today, definitely playing with a lot of will, and it seems like Edgewood's setting up more into plays and doing different things as we've seen so far.
Anderson not afraid to fire the three, and she gets Edgewood on the board. Shelby Anderson on the season averages 7.6, her 11th three-pointer of the season.
And Edgewood running that full court press out of the beginning. That's going to be interesting to see if they can keep that up. Again, we talked about defense first, and that's definitely a very hard defensive play.
That's always been the mantra, as a turnover right there by Lakin Price as she is called for the double dribble.
But then we see Cloverdale going back on defense, not incorporating a press, kind of inviting that pressure and inviting plays to be done on them.
As you see Cloverdale in the zone, they're going to go inside to Allie Spear. She's going to put it up in traffic, no good. Tapped around, Spear grabs it. Now in the hands of Taylor Minnick. Carly Sherfield going to put it up, no good. Caden Harrington, the rebound, foul into the hands of Spear. Can't get it. Now Harrington will be called over the back.
But that's what she needs to do down there. She needs to be able to be physical and get those rebounds because, I mean, that's going to be a really important part of the game to have her down there. I mean, whenever you have, 5 inches on somebody, that's a big deal.
Yeah, last year Trista Helms was kind of the girl in the middle for Edgewood. Helms this year has only played one game nursing an ankle injury, and Helms is only 5'8" as compared to Harrington's 6'2".
Absolutely.
So definitely a different look now with Caden Harrington on the varsity team. As you can see, the way she's out there guarding Shoemaker, stretching the floor too. And there's a steal. Shelby Anderson had Sherfield up ahead, didn't see her. Now a nice pass in traffic to Allie Spear, but can't finish.
That's always hard whenever you get a play like that, a nice breakaway, but unfortunately just not able to convert.
Clovers still looking to get on the board, and that's another turnover by Shoemaker. And now we will see Zoe Powell, number 20, check in for the first time, replacing Allie Spear.
That's a second either dribble or traveling violation that's happened on Cloverdale. I wonder if they're going to shore that up.
Shelby Anderson going to fire it again and nails it.
Basket by Anderson.
She's got all 6 Edgewood points.
The way things are going, they might as well keep passing it to her if she keeps on shooting the way she has.
Averaged 5.8 last season ago. Did Shelby Anderson. It will be Cloverdale basketball. Shelby Anderson so far 2 games in double figures this year, 15 against Sullivan and 13 at South Putnam.
It's good to have somebody like that on a team that you always know will get you some points, so that way they're not going to be, as we see a hard try there with the reverse layup.
Yeah, Cassie Wade can't finish for Cloverdale, but it went out of bounds on Edgewood, so it will be Cloverdale ball. Schrum to inbounds, overthrown, going to go in the back court, but Thomas chased it down. Now it's an Edgewood foul.
Personal foul number 12, Anderson.
That will be the third on Shelby, or third team foul on Edgewood, first on Anderson. This is Thomas with it.
You just see a harder defensive push by the Mustangs here. Cloverdale just cannot do anything about it on offense.
Cloverdale still scoreless here. Anderson again, lights it up. The nets are on fire for Shelby Anderson. 3 threes and all 9 points.
Absolutely. And down there, as they were coming down, you just see how Edgewood's getting in front of their person, in front of the person they're guarding. But you saw Cloverdale there on the breakaway, just not being able to get in front of their man and be just chasing Edgewood around, and that ended up in a 3-point play.
So Trista Helms going to check in for Edgewood.
Number 3, Ariana McCracken.
Ariana McCracken going to check in. And Autumn Llewellyn checking in to wearing number 10 for Cloverdale. Here's a shot for Thomas. It's no good. And Anderson with the rebound. Sherfield to Anderson. Just under 4 minutes to go in the first quarter. As a turnover by Edgewood. Cloverdale still looking to get on the board.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what Cloverdale's doing because they're running kind of 2 bigs inside.
And that's an offensive foul on Lakin Price. So everything going the way of the Mustangs. And now we are going to see Claire Sherfield, the twin sister of Carly Sherfield. Remember, older sister Erin played here a few years ago and was a standout. She basically came in, played halfway through, basically started halfway through her freshman season. As Taylor Minnick drills a 3.
I don't think they're going to shoot from inside the paint.
Well, when you and there's a steal by Zoe Powell. She's going to take it in and score. And Matthew Langdon's seen enough.
I just got to say, though, between what I've seen last year and what I see this year from this team is the intensity, the defensive intensity that they show on the press and on the I mean, even that last basket to go through 2 people, get a layup out of that, just to be able to see that intensity and stuff is really, really cool because, you weren't seeing that kind of conversion and that kind of press, if I remember, as much last year. So it's really cool to see just that constant pressure and constant press that they're doing.
Edgewood coming into the night, 16 3-pointers. Anderson led the way with 10 of those. Now she's at 13. Taylor Minnick has now 4. Kara Clark has 2, and Carly Sherfield has the other 3-pointer. And I have a feeling we're not done yet.
I agree with that. I agree with that.
So here come the Clovers. 3 minutes to go in the first quarter and still looking for their first points of the game.
They just really can't penetrate because they're just running around, kind of. I don't know how. It's kind of like a.
McCracken ran into Trista Helms, but she's able to get the bucket and score, and Cloverdale finally on the board.
Yeah, but you don't really see a lot of confidence with that play, you know? That it didn't really seem like an executed play or anything.
Kraken kicked the ball, so it stays with Edgewood. It's a Cloverdale team that comes in losing 2 straight. They lost to Monroe Central, who's one of the top-ranked teams in 2A, 43-33. That was played up at Newcastle, and then losing to North Putnam on Tuesday night, 59-51. Minnick's shot no good, and then Minnick gets hit, and they're going to call Llewellyn with the foul.
Personal foul. Number 10.
That was great ball movement though on that play to get to the open shot and be able to get that open 3. And then it's just that deal of converting that, getting that conversion that's really important because if you can get that open shot, you know, you really got to put that away if someone's gifting you that.
2 fouls for Cloverdale, 4 for Edgewood. Approaching 2 minutes to go in quarter number 1. Llewellyn deflected it into the hands of Anderson, and they are going to call a jump ball.
Elbow on those 2.
That was a quick jump. Quick jump.
She was trying to go through 2 Clover defenders.
That's true.
And then got the held ball. So Clark with it.
You just see.
Tries to throw it into Helms. Trying to throw it to her feet and went out of bounds. It'll be Cloverdale ball.
And if you watch Cloverdale defense, there's kind of almost a zone being played. I think down low, because I just saw Claire Sherfield just kind of run through the bottom without being touched at all or really guarded, and she was able to get the ball. Let's see if Cloverdale can convert this possession though.
McCracken drives baseline, kicks it out. 3 on the way. It is off the mark. McCracken saves it, but it goes into Kara Clark's hands, and here comes Edgewood. Shelby Anderson is open. Gives it to Claire Sherfield. Powell. Clark baseline shot too strong. Shrum with the rebound. Cloverdale gonna push. Shrum throws it in, and here goes Shelby Anderson, takes it away from Lakin Price. Coach Sims telling his team push, and then Claire Sherfield gets called for the travel.
Yeah, I don't think Cloverdale really kind of knew. It was kind of those situations where there was about 1 or 2 people who kind of wanted to go and push, but then a lot more wanted to just kind of run a play and stay back. But here we go again, Edgewood with that kind of full court feeling press. You know, they're going to let them walk up, but they're not going to let them walk up kind of free.
And they're going to call the 10-second call against Cloverdale. Now Caden Harrington's going to come back in as she'll replace Zoe Powell.
I wonder if they're going to use her more because that height, I mean, you look at her and she just sticks out because she is a head taller than everybody down there.
Yeah, still learning kind of the game. She had a great game a couple weeks ago, 13 points, 12 rebounds against Bloomfield. But again, I mean, you're a freshman coming in. You've started all the games. I mean, and they've been waiting for her to finally get to the high school level.
I remember being a part of classes like that where they just, you know, there's a good class in middle school coming up, and then, you know, you finally see them and how good they are.
They're going to call the foul underneath. She reminds me, there was a girl a few years ago here at Edgewood named Vanessa Brown, and everybody was so excited about Vanessa coming up, you know, because she was a coach's kid and she was going to make an impact, and she did. She had a great career here at Edgewood. And I think that's kind of the expectation of a Caden Harrington, the size that she has, the knowledge that she has, being that her mom played in college and her dad has been a JV coach. And, it's, you're going to see her grow over this season.
Absolutely, and that's something that comes with a lot of, got a lot of game reps, a lot of time in the game learning stuff. But at the same time, growing up in middle school, I had a growth spurt, and so you get the question whenever you're tall like that, do you play basketball? That's the common question. So I assume that she gets that question a lot.
So, got to get it off. Kara Clark just throws it up, and it gets stuck on the rim. And it gets stuck on the rim. So
that should be a 6-point play.
That? So, end of the first quarter. Edgewood, as we get a nice close-up shot of the ball there from our camera guy, Sam Malloy, as Edgewood leads 14-4 against Cloverdale on Smithville Sports.
Smithville Media has produced stunning and engaging features and documentaries for over a decade. Local interest stories, interviews, commercials and event coverage are all part of what we do. Let us showcase your business or create a commercial for your promotions. We can even play your pieces during our live sports broadcasts. For details, speak with a Smithville representative or email media@smithville.com.
As we welcome you back to the Mustang Corral here at Edgewood High School, Edgewood leads Cloverdale 14-4. Glad you could join us for Edgewood Mustang basketball here on Smithville Sports. I'm Nick Jenkinson alongside Jeremy Nutter. So far, Jeremy, Edgewood 4 threes in this first quarter, 3 of them by Shelby Anderson.
Yeah, she just had a great game, especially at the beginning, the way she started out. Just setting that tempo. She definitely been setting that tempo on defense too, with a couple of scrums, and getting the ball down low, not being afraid to get on the ground. So it's really a full performance, because they're able to definitely perform on defense and offense as well. All they need to do now is just make some of the open shots they're creating for themselves, and they've really got everything going for them.
And Cloverdale lost the ball once again, so Edgewood gets another turnover. Now Cloverdale are going to ramp it up, and they create a turnover this time as McCracken comes away with it. Going to fly through 3 Edgewood defenders, throw up a wild shot. Shrum's going to fire the 3. It is too strong. Taylor Minnick with it. And as you see, Minnick trying to take it, gets it to Spear. Jump stop, and just Harrington out of position there. Anderson gets it to go, and she is now in double figures for the 3rd time this season.
Didn't take too long either.
Didn't take but about 9 minutes for her to get in double figures.
Exactly. Let's see what Cloverdale has this offensive possession.
There is a nice bucket for Haley Thomas, her first 2 of the game.
Definitely a fire putting under his players on Cloverdale. Coach Langdon there, and he's really put a fire underneath players, because they are playing out of their minds. Like, you think to yourself, where were they in the first quarter almost? Well, this is a different team.
He calls that timeout, and he has to kind of get into him a little bit and let him know, hey, you got to step up and play ball here. I think maybe the little bus ride could have maybe put them to sleep here a little bit.
A little more peanut butter in the peanut butter jelly sandwich, get a little heavier stomach, and want to fall asleep. They're on that drive.
Yeah, it's not a far trip. Cloverdale's probably about a half hour away up US 231. So not a far trip to come for the Clovers tonight. As there is Spear.
See, and that's what they just need to do, is convert those open shots. I mean, I think they probably missed 4 or 5 wide open shots.
There is Shrum, guarded by Sherfield. Again, excellent defense.
Mm-hmm.
And Anderson touched it last. It will be Cloverdale ball.
Definitely, though, Cloverdale's intensity on offense has increased a lot because, they're darting towards the basket. You can just tell they're running a lot harder, and that's showing.
And Edgewood had some time off. They played White River Valley the Monday of Thanksgiving week, so they've had about a week and a half rest as Anderson throws the pass and Schrum blocks it. Schrum blocks Allie Spear.
It's always fun, though, whenever you hear a coach yell, go, that encouraging, they're going to press. And so whenever there's something like a coach yelling, go, as they run down the sideline, it's cool to see the intensity that the
Spear in a
players
double
have.
team, throws it away. Harrington chases it down, but she was on the line. It'll be Cloverdale ball. So now Edgewood getting a little bit more complacent here in the second quarter as Taylor Minnick is going to come back in, replacing Spear.
And Cloverdale waking up a little bit here.
So they're going to throw the token full court press. McCracken has the ball. 5.5 minutes to go here before halftime. Stay tuned, we'll have a great feature for you. And underneath, deflected away by Minnick into the hands of Sherfield. Now ball, now it's Caden Harrington. Gives it to Anderson, 3, bingo!
Basket, Anderson.
And as you saw, 2 Clovers missed that closeout. Anderson buries her 4th triple of the game. And Matthew Langdon says, hey, I need another timeout.
I mean, it almost was like one of those shots you could have turned around and walked away and you knew it was going in. Because the way she's been shooting tonight, you just expect that. But it definitely is. I feel like Cloverdale just needs to be able to know how to win that battle inside offensive possessions on the down low, in the key. Because that's where they're kind of finding trouble. I mean, that just got a bad pass in the lane, gets deflected, and then a three-pointer, So just stuff like that, really important things. You really need to be able to own that down low in the offensive possession.
So 19-6, Shelby Anderson, 14 of Edgewood's 19 points here in the first half. 4 threes, 5 threes total for Edgewood in this first half. Shot for Wade is no good. Rebounded to the Clovers. McCracken. And it is deflected by Minnick. Edgewood is just doing a great job of getting in the passing lanes. Nice jump stop by Carly Sherfield, and she's on the board. And she is on the board.
And that's a thing that people always need to learn is that pump fake, because that is going to get you a lot more points because people are going to be flying down the court wanting to stuff you.
And then that was just a bullet pass from Sherfield to Taylor Minnick.
Just a clinic on intensity here. I mean, look at this. They just cannot get the ball up the court.
Zoe Powell too strong. Wade with the rebound, and then there is
They're all over Cloverdale. Cloverdale just can't seem to get their bearings.
They called Minnick for the foul, but Wade shoved off, and they did not call that.
And I think the way Edgewood are playing promotes that physical type of play. It reminds me of some soccer teams I've seen that, they're scrappy. They may not always get the ball. They may not always get something, but they're always going to be in your face. They're always going to be closing you down. They're always going to be on you, and they're always going to be moving their feet. And so, sure, put up a shot, do different things, get in their face. It may not work all the time, but then here we go.
Another deflection, Sherfield, and she gets fouled.
I mean, just the intensity that this team has put up.
Number 21, Wade.
You could see them being almost up by 30 points at the half, the way they're playing.
That's on Wade. So at the line for the Mustangs, this is Carly Sherfield. She misses the free throw. And now we got Claire Sherfield coming in. So we've got the twins on the floor.
a lot of 1-2 combinations between them probably.
They know each other best as she misses both, and then looks like Trista Helms called for the over the back. That's her second. Carly Sherfield comes in 5.1 a game. Edgewood on the whole, though, free throw shooting, we talked about it at the start, 61%. That has always been one thing that Gary Sims' teams have had trouble with, it seems like, is free throw shooting through the years. Haley Thomas hits that free throw. She's got 3, 5'5" senior for the Clovers. We talked about the Clovers experience with their seniors. As she misses it, Price gets the rebound. Thomas shot misses. Another offensive board for Price. Wade's gonna fire from the corner and nails it. Her first 3 of the game.
Basket by Wade.
And you saw that intensity that we see from Edgewood all the time. Cloverdale got a little taste of it too.
Bo Sherfield's in the game. There is Minnick driving through, and she gets her 7th point of the night.
She sliced and diced right through. And
then
there we go again.
Cloverdale lost it, turnover to Edgewood. So Cloverdale really struggling, getting the ball at the floor, as you said, and just having a hard time handling this press that Edgewood throwing at them.
I mean, Edgewood is just winning by defense. That is simple, winning by defense.
And that's what Coach Sims has always preached. It's they say defense wins championships through the years, but it's just defense wins for Coach Sims. Defense wins ball games.
Because the way that this is, it's not like a defense that is maybe just a solid defense kind of half court. It's a relentless defense, a relentless defense that's always on you. That's creating these offensive opportunities, because whenever you're pressing and you get say a block or a steal at half court,
as Wade misses that one,
half the team's behind you, and so you're automatically on a 3-on-2, 3-on-3, and so that opportunity to have that kind of number advantage is so important whenever you're running this type of thing, because then even though you're running probably more than the other team is, they feel more tired because they're chasing you. You're like ghost.
And Coach Sims sees
timeout taken by the Mustangs.
Something he doesn't like, and going to take a 30-second timeout. So Coach Sims was rehired April 15, 2019. 58 years old. He's 12th season at the school. He was here now he's a biology teacher here in the school, so he didn't retire from teaching. He just took the year off from coaching. Mm-hmm. And he thought he was not going to come back. And then I think last year being away from the game, and it just he told me before the game tonight, it felt really good to be back. So, sometimes you think, you got to step away, and then you get those competitive juices flowing again, and he's back on the sidelines, 170 and 110, 3 sectional titles. He had 8 winning seasons, 2 500 seasons for the Mustangs, and 2 losing seasons that, of course, he doesn't want to talk about. But he's been a long-time coach. He also, as Zoe Powell scored, he's also coached a lot of boys basketball down at Mitchell. And
look at that. It's just, it's incredible. It's really fun to watch, whenever you see stuff like that. I mean, yes, they missed, but, just the intensity. They just immediate close down is exciting to watch. It's just fun to watch. Good basketball.
And if you think about it, they lost 2 seniors, Kaylee Meyer and Jonelle Pace, and then Mallory Love did not return after, she battled injuries the year before. So the dynamic of the team is still there. A lot of these pieces were still there, but now you've got a sophomore class
For the Mustangs.
that is, a lot of those girls played last year. Sherfield twins, Kara Clark, Zoe Powell, Trista Helms, and Shayla Chambers have
very young team last year.
Have all shown, got a lot of experience. As Camry Manette is in the game for Cloverdale, 5'6" senior.
And that's what you hope for, is that stuff like that happens. But one of the drawbacks maybe of having that kind of hardcore, kind of full court press is a lot of fouls, which is clearly seen here, that they have already racked up 8. And so that definitely is a side effect and can be maybe helped out. But yeah, it's fun to watch. Good fun basketball.
And as we talked about the experience, you look at Cloverdale, and with all their seniors, they've had, the senior class 3 straight winning seasons. So that's, they have obviously ramped it up from what they were. As again, Anderson bounce passes to Allie Spear.
Basket by Spear.
But that's a thing. They have instituted a winning culture that they hadn't seen for a long time.
And then you have a team like to go up like a team against Edgewood that had a season like they did last season, and all those people know. And so there's a lot of chip on your shoulder, I would think, on that Edgewood team, because there's some seniors on that team that don't exactly want to end the year like last year was, and so you have those younger girls, and then you have kind of the older ones that don't want to have a season, losing season. They want to definitely improve and win and create a future for the team that'll be good.
And this series going back, they played every year since 2015. Edgewood won the first 2, and then Cloverdale has won the last 2. So it's the series tied at 2, of course. Also, these 2 teams are in the Western Indiana Conference East Division, so this is a big division game.
Yes, I'm right. Yeah, we talked about that before, about how important this is divisionally.
As under a minute to go here, and Monnett's going to get called for the foul on Claire Sherfield.
Personal foul, number 20, Monnet.
So that's her first, the team's 5th for Cloverdale. Spear, Anderson, just
she can't miss
ice
tonight.
In her veins.
She
5
cannot
threes.
miss tonight. Oh my goodness.
5 threes for Shelby Anderson, and all of them are like nothing but net.
Yeah, exactly. And whenever you get that type of mood, it's kind of hard to get out of it. Once you get, really solid shooting tonight.
See the defense. Price down the lane, can't get it to go. 3 seconds. Allie Spears going to throw it to Sherfield, but she cannot get it off in time. And Edgewood's going to go to the half, 32-12. So what a performance as we look at the highlights. I got a feeling we're going to see a lot of this. Shelby Anderson's 3-pointer. There's one.
There's another 3-pointer.
That's Taylor Minnick with the 3. And then inside for Cloverdale, there's Shelby Anderson with her only 2. But here's the defense coming big for Edgewood. Zoe Powell, look at that, slicing by 2 defenders.
Beautiful
scoring
slow
the bucket.
motion.
And then Caden Harrington giving it off. Shelby Anderson just ice in her veins. 5 threes. Edgewood running the fast break as the Mustangs in control, 32-12 here on Smithville Sports.
My name is Pat East. I'm the executive director of the mill. I've been here for about 2 years now, a year since we opened the mill and a year before that, getting the project up and running. Dimension Mill, or the Mill as we call it, is 19,000 square feet of co-working and incubator space. So what that means is our members are freelancers, consultants, startups, students, remote workers. They rent desks from us on a month-to-month basis, so that consists of a membership. They get access to internet, to conference rooms, to call rooms. They get access to our classroom, our podcasting studio, our kitchenette. And so it's a really quick and easy way for somebody to have an office space without having to do all the work associated with an office. In addition to that, we have 10 private offices that are all occupied by startups. And so these folks are growing their companies. They're anywhere from kind of 1 employee all the way up to maybe 10 employees. And the idea for them is to grow as quickly as possible, move in, grow quickly, and then leave as quickly as possible as well. And we want to kind of do this cycle as much as possible. This is a 104-year-old building. It used to be part of the Shower Brothers furniture factory. So around the turn of the century, Shower Brothers was the dominant furniture manufacturer in the United States. When you first walk into the mill, you can feel and sense the energy in here. And I think partly that's because of the history of the building, but also because the architects did a phenomenal job preserving as much of the red exposed brick, preserving the 104-year-old wooden floor, preserving the skylights, and just kind of the overall look and feel of the building. When somebody signs up to be a member at the mill, they get access to all of our amenities here. We have primary internet from Smithville. It's a gig up, gig down, it's dedicated fiber. It was installed specifically for us, so nobody else is on our internet. It's the fastest internet you can get in Bloomington. So internet is really extremely important here. Because all these folks are knowledge workers, and so almost all their work is on the internet. So it's extremely important that we have internet available literally 24/7. We have a 2-story event hall here as well, with skylights and an art gallery downstairs with fresh new art coming in every month. We have a 30-seat classroom where we have speakers come in, where we have code school twice a week. Lots of companies do half-day or full-day strategy sessions there. Lots of companies have their board meetings there as well. And we have 3 call booths that folks can pop in for webinars or private confidential phone calls. We also have 3 conference rooms that folks can reserve online. We also have a bike room in the back. And then finally, we have 2 main co-working areas. One is up front. That room is much more open, and folks do a lot of socializing in the front room. And then the back room is much quieter, kind of has a library feel with library carols. It just feels a lot quieter, and folks do a lot more heads down work back there. So at the mill, we have a podcast studio, and because we support all forms of entrepreneurship at the mill, because our vision is to become the center of co-working and entrepreneurship in Indiana, we wanted to make sure we took advantage of this wave that's happening. So all of our equipment in the podcast studio was selected by Shine Insurance. They're the sponsor of the podcast studio. They do all of the training for us as well, and then all of the management of the studio. All of our equipment was purchased by Sweetwater. They're the world's largest online pro audio equipment seller. They happen to be located in Indiana as well, in Fort Wayne. And so with all this kind of energy that we've put behind the podcast studio and kind of this wave of entrepreneurship it's creating, we have 7 different podcasts that have started at the mill since we opened our doors about a year ago. And the mill is starting its own podcast as well. So Smithville's involvement has assisted the mill in 2 really, really big ways. The first is, of course, the internet we have here. It's a gig up, it's a gig down, it's the fastest we can possibly get. It's a dedicated fiber line, which means nobody else is on it, and they installed it specifically for us. And so without having this anchor of really fast, reliable internet, I honestly don't believe we'd have as many members as we do now, because when you look at other spaces, they may not be designed as well. but they have reliable, fast internet. But when you have the fastest and most reliable, it truly, truly makes a difference for these knowledge workers. The second big way that Smithville has really helped us is because Smithville is such a widely known employer in Bloomington, because they care so much about the community, there's so much community involvement, it really helps to have their brand associated with us, to have their moral support as well when we're embarking on a project like this that takes so many people, it takes so much effort, it takes so much energy and resources. Because without really great partners like Smithville and all of our 20 or 30 other corporate sponsors, we can't get a project like this up and running. And so having Smithville's moral support is really a huge, huge win for us. So there's lots of different startups here at the mill. In addition, we have a lot of good resources for startups. So we have a full-time entrepreneur in residence. So what that means is the EIR is a full-time mentor. So this person helps our startups company build, they go through financials, they help them find customers, they help them find investors. So between the EIR and all these support resources like IU Ventures and all these different startups, there's a really interesting, cool community here. And so if somebody has a small business where they are selling their wares on Main Street, we'd love to figure out how to help them get online with an e-commerce store and help them sell their wares globally. And so even if you're not currently focused on kind of a high potential, high growth company, we'd like to figure out how you could get there if that's something you want to do. You can get a month-to-month membership, so there's no contracts, and we have multiple memberships to fit whatever your particular business is at the particular stage and life cycle is. And for those folks who are starting their business but maybe doing it while they have a full-time job, we have a nights and weekends membership as well. The feeling that people get when they walk into the mill is the thing I like most about working at the mill. Even a year later, it doesn't get old. People seeing the mill for the first time and just being overwhelmed in a good way that something like this not only exists in Bloomington, but exists in the Midwest. The main benefit of the mill is the people here. We have 250 people from all different walks of life who've decided to be in Bloomington. These are really smart people doing cool, interesting things with their lives, whether they're remote workers or they've decided to start their own business. And most of the people who are running a business here, if you're just now starting your business, they've probably gone through the same problems that you've had. So while the building is really phenomenal and the design is great, it's the people that really matter, and it's the people that really no other city in the United States can replicate. And it's the people that will make the membership benefit the most. The mill really acts as a lightning rod for all of this energy and activity and creativity. It's hard not to be inspired when you walk into the mill. If somebody's interested in a membership, in renting space, in holding an event here, the best way to get in touch with us is to go to dimensionmill.org online.
As we welcome you back to Edgewood Mustang Basketball here on Smithville Sports, I'm Nick Jenkinson alongside Jeremy Nutter. Shelby Anderson leads Cloverdale 17-12 as the Mustangs have scored 32 points. But again, it's been all Shelby Anderson in this first half, Jeremy.
Yeah, I mean, if she shoots anything inside the three-point line, it's a rare occurrence because she has been lethal from outside of the arc.
Edgewood is 6-0 this year when leading at the half. Going to try to make that 7-0 as Harrington and Spear miss.
And you couldn't vote against them too bad because they're looking really sharp, really good, unless Cloverdale comes out firing.
As Wade fires that three, she misses. Price with the offensive board, puts it back up in traffic, and scores. She's got 6. It is 32-14, Edgewood lead. Gonna throw it in, nice post feed to Harrington, she can't finish. Then it's gonna be the offensive foul on Caden.
Yeah, and also to speak to the beginning of that possession, she picked up her dribble there. And, you know, you just, that's a hard thing to do, because whenever you pick up that dribble, especially at the top of the key, you're pausing that whole thing. You're pausing the whole possession for no reason. She had no reason to pick up that ball. So, you know that's something that you can definitely improve on, just keeping that play moving, keeping everything going.
Taylor Minnick gonna fire it. Left short, goes out of bounds. It'll be Cloverdale ball.
I noticed a lot of three-pointers from Edgewood tonight. They're liking their 3-pointers, it seems.
They had 6 in the first half. Minnick had 1 and Anderson had 5. Anderson was 17 at half. Minnick 7. Powell 4. Allie Spear and Carly Sherfield had 2 apiece. For Cloverdale was Lakin Price with 4. Haley Thomas 3. Cassie Wade 3 and Ariana McCracken with 2. And they're going to get Carly Sherfield with her second foul.
That's what you're going to get with that hard press. You're going to get fouls, but, you know, it's working out. It's worth it so far for Edgewood.
Edgewood doing a great job. Again, we talked about that defense and their defensive average of 41.5. Cloverdale gives up 39.6. Sammy Schrum gets her first 2 of the game. As interesting, because Schrum has had 4 games in double figures this year. Her best game, 20 against Riverton Park. And there is Carly Sherfield.
It was almost like no one wanted to go out and get her from the, you know, in the lane. Everybody just kind of watched her go by, and that's wherever you kind of, you kind of need your bigs to be down there and kind of say, this is my lane. You know, you kind of need, you know, not foul hits, not cheap shots, but kind of, you know, you body the person you're guarding up. You know, let them know that if they go through the lane, it's not going to be an easy, fun experience. You know, you're going to have to earn it. And so for something like that, just to be able to kind of go through the lane is definitely a testament, kind of an improving of the defense that may need to happen.
As Sherfield can't, she has struggled 0 for 4 from the line tonight.
And that's what we talked about, their inability to shoot free throws.
Here's numbers, as Anderson can't grab the handle from Minnick and goes out of bounds.
And again, this full court press.
Yeah, Edgewood's relentless on this press, and you can tell it has thrown Cloverdale completely off as they lose that ball out of bounds once again.
And I think Cloverdale is getting more of a hang of it, but I think definitely in that first, 15 minutes or so, kind of right before the end of the half, whenever they kind of did better, or maybe even less than that, they just got overwhelmed, and it was just so obvious to me that they just were not able to hang with Edgewood intensity-wise, especially in that first quarter.
Helms can't get it to go, but Cassie Wade, she was on the line. They're going to give her a 2, and they're going to, Coach Sims wants a 30-second timeout.
And I think he wants to talk about how they need to convert their points because they haven't scored at all.
So looking at tomorrow, Edgewood will be home against North Putnam. That will be our next game, another boys-girls doubleheader. So looking forward to that one, as North Putnam girls are 4-3. They are at South Putnam tonight, and that's a boys-girls doubleheader. And then the North Putnam boys are 1-0. They beat Southmont 66-56. They're at South Putnam tonight. Edgewood comes in to tonight's game 2-1, or 1-1. Lost to Bloomington South, beat Martinsville last week. So we will have that for you, and then They will play South Vermilion next Friday, and then Shakamak next Saturday, and then Indian Creek before Christmas.
And on defense there, you just saw from Cloverdale a box-and-one zone where it actually worked pretty effectively, where you saw that whole box move over, and that just kind of helped out covering, against that early shot and other things that were lower down. But, you also got to look for, things like that where
We're going to call a foul on Cloverdale.
Yeah, that was kind of hard to get for a second. I was kind of confused. That was kind of confusing. So, someone fell and you just didn't know what was going on.
Sammy Schrum with her second foul. Team's third. Minnick to inbound. Going to throw it to Carly Sherfield. I always got to make sure when one of the two Sherfields touch it, I know which one it is. I don't want to mistake them.
But now they're not. They're in a completely different defense. They go man, and that's
Harrington gonna take it up strong.
Basket by Harrington.
She gets her first two of the night.
And that's really good to see because if you get someone like her going down low, you have a big body.
There
That'll
is
be really good.
Carly Sherfield with the steal, and she missed it. And then battle for it off Minnick. It will be Cloverdale ball.
And you got to make those. Those are the shots that you just have to make, and that's what Edgewood definitely needs to improve on because, even though this lead is a 16-point lead, they're not out of the woods completely free yet. And so, she's got to convert those shots. She's got to convert those free throws,
And there is a long three for Haley Thomas. Second three of the night for Cloverdale. Wade with the other three as we approach 4 minutes to go here in quarter number 3.
And it looks like from an out-of-bounds point, they were in a zone, and now they broke out into man coverage. Very interesting to see how that'll work defensive-wise.
That is way too strong for Sherfield, and it will be off Cloverdale Edgewood ball.
Defensively, she's doing really well. It's just offensively, just the finishing isn't there right now.
Anderson got to get it in. Gets it to Minnick. They're going to call McCracken for the foul as Minnick was tripped.
Personal foul, number 3, McCracken.
So 4-team foul on Cloverdale. And we will see Zoe Powell back in the lineup.
Number 20, Powell,
replacing Helms. Helms just playing her second game. As you see the brace on her ankle. Played against White River Valley the last game. Coach Sims says she didn't even practice Monday or Tuesday because of her ankle. She rolled it again in practice. As Caden Harrington gets her 4th point of the night. Starting to get rolling now.
And exactly. I mean, defensively, I'm just trying to see kind of how both teams are lining up because I'm still kind of figuring out how Cloverdale is lining up because it seems like out of the inbound, they're going into a 4, kind of a 2-2-1 zone kind of thing as we'll see them kind of go down into a square, and then they'll kind of go into a man, and that's interesting, definitely confusing. It also is part of Edgewood and how they're running an offense right now, but as you see, people are guarding nothing right now, and so that's whenever they're in that zone.
As you see, Zoe Powell slices her way for her 6th point.
An immediate inbound, fast-paced by Cloverdale.
Lead is 17. I mean, Edgewood is just having their way any way they can, both offensively and defensively.
And more importantly, exactly, Sherfield's doing great on defense.
And there's the nice pass to Taylor Minnick.
But yeah, it's just Edgewood definitely has been controlling the game. At different points, they've been very good on offense and always been pretty consistent on defense so far this game. But, the thing they definitely have been, as Cloverdale gets to, is that they definitely been disrupting the whole game. They haven't let really a set play go through with Cloverdale, and that's something that's really cool to see, kind of where you see kind of a more free-flowing defense, kind of cover, and, it's maybe not a classic kind of set defense, and so you get stuff like that.
Yeah, another steal by Edgewood. This time it is Claire Sherfield. Caden Harrington going to show a little range. She can't get that one to go. Carly Sherfield with the rebound. In traffic, gets it to her twin sister. Now Minnick on the line. No good. Rebound McCracken.
As you see, face guarding, though, even on the other line is...
Now we're going to see Kara Clark check in the next ball. Price guarding, or going up against Harrington, and she chases down that rebound. And you also see her length. She alters those shots.
Yes.
She's had several shots. She's altered several shots in this game.
And as you see, I've also noticed, too, on offense with Edgewood, they throw a lot of fakes. There's a lot of fakes. She threw about probably 4 right there. And, there's always that, especially whenever you're running down the court, which makes sense with the defense, the way they're playing, is that, you're going to get a steal run down the court. You're going to have a ton of people trailing you. And so getting that pump fake in may be to your benefit. But it is definitely a theme that I've seen, is that they have been just relentlessly pump faking tonight.
Number 11, Kara Clark.
Kara Clark back in. 15 is Daphne Erman's in for the first time. She wears 15 for Edgewood. Zoe Powell gets the first free throw for the Mustangs tonight.
And that's where you definitely can find improvement. Coach Sims kind of get them on that free throw line.
As Lakin Price scores, she's now in double figures with 10.
I was going to say is, the famous Wisconsin kind of drills at the beginning of practice, that you would always hear about them doing back in the day, always shooting free throws, doing chest passes, the simple things, This is where Cloverdale's gotten, about 5-6 points, and it's just because they can make those free throws.
Yeah, the Clovers have only missed one free throw this evening as Camry Monitz back in the game.
Replacing Strong.
Price is perfect from the line, 5 for 5. Thomas is 1 of 2, so 6 for 7 tonight for the Clovers from the line, as compared to Edgewood, where they're 1.
Yeah, they're the other way.
6.
Exactly.
Madison Shoemaker's going to check back in for
number 10, Llewellyn, number 33, Shoemaker.
For the Clovers, along with Autumn Llewellyn.
Hey, I guess as long as you play that good defense, really tight, you really don't have to.
And there is a battle for it, and they're going to say Thomas was out of bounds while chasing the loose ball. So another turnover for Cloverdale.
And that's been the tale. They'll get you to ball turnover and they'll disrupt you. Sure, they maybe can't do too much on the free throw line, but they're just going to make you not ever be settled.
Anderson.
Oh,
In and out. Powell with the rebound and put back.
Basket Powell.
Surely she just didn't miss,
The iron unkind for
And
Shelby Anderson at that point. Now it's a foul on Kara Clark and Edgewood.
There's a nice hard pick there on that come.
I mean, that went down and came out. That was so close.
That was so close.
28 seconds to go, and Cloverdale commits another turnover. And you can just see the frustration on the girls' faces.
They just don't know what to do. And it's in that situation, it comes down to that kind of the way you play, the way you're coached, the kind of mentality your team is behind. Because, there's a different mentality between these two teams than you can see. There's an intensity. There's like a tenacity on this team. Sure, they're not going to run too many very set plays, but they're going to play very hard defense, and they're going to get in your grill. And that's their identity. That's how they're going to play.
Always have been the identity, as Cloverdale can't get the shot off, and we'll go the fourth quarter with Edgewood in control, 43-26 on Smithville Sports.
Whether it's countertops, an outdoor kitchen, or a custom shower, Inside Out Kitchen and Bath can make your ideas reality. Based locally in Ellettsville, our staff have over 30 years experience in the business and the dedicated ability to get your job done right. Stop in and see us at 4053 North Centennial Drive in Ellettsville, just opposite Arby's. Visit our website at www.iokb.us or give us a call at 812-803-8005. We'll help you complete your project inside and out.
As we welcome you back to the Mustang Corral, you see the Edgewood Mustang huddle with Coach Gary Sims. His team up 43-26 as we begin the fourth quarter. Just a reminder, we're not done. We've got the boys game coming up here between these two schools. 20 minutes after the conclusion of this one, that will be an exciting game as Edgewood's got a new coach in Matt Wadsworth, and Cloverdale coming off a loss to Terre Haute South, in which Kyle Thomas, their sophomore, scored 30 of their 45 points in the loss. So it's going to be really interesting to see how that game
If he doesn't show up again, how's it going to go? You know, that's a question to ask for sure.
But no Trevor Taylor for Edgewood as he's been suspended indefinitely. But Derek Farkas had a great game against Martinsville, 25 points last Saturday night. So that will be a good one, so stay tuned after that. Stay tuned for that one.
Substitution.
And a substitution already, less than 10 seconds into the quarter, a substitution already. Something definitely did not go to plan for Cloverdale.
Yeah, Coach Langdon trying to figure out any combination right now that can work.
See, they're in a trap now. They're trying to get over there, and it worked.
Anderson threw it over the head of Minnick, and it is now Cloverdale ball. These two teams in the East Division, along with Brown County, Indian Creek, and Owen Valley. So where you finish, then you will play the team from the other division in the crossover, which determines the overall standings in the Western Indiana Conference. As Shoemaker is going to go to the line.
Personal foul, number 20, Powell.
They're going to call Zoe Powell with the foul.
And you already got 6 fouls here for Cloverdale and 4 for Edgewood. So that may be a lot of time at the line coming up here.
Shoemaker misses the.
Carly Sherfield.
Now we're going to have the twin sister switch as Carly comes in for Claire Sherfield.
You know, Coach wants to do that every once in a while.
As Shoemaker misses both for the Clovers.
And you just hear Coach yell, not like in a bad way, but in a way to he just like push, go. You know, you just hear words like that he just wants his team to always be going.
Minnick gets the foul on Shoemaker, and she'll go to the line. Oh, Coach Sims is always he's always been very animated. He gets his point across. There is no doubt about it. But he's done a great job here at Edgewood. He's built his program. He's won a couple sectionals, through the years, and back after just a season break, and we'll see how long he decides to stick around this time as Zoe Powell scores again for Edgewood. 11 for Powell, so she is in double figures along with Anderson. And as Shrum attempts the 3, it's no good. First time for Zoe Powell this season in double figures.
Yeah, and that's really good whenever you get, a lot of people in on the same, as there's a stoppage in play. Okay.
I think they were checking.
But yeah, that's always good to get more people in those high scoring opportunities, because then, for instance, if there's an injury or, if your top scorer gets hurt, there's a a definite hurt on the team. But, once you have more people there contributing, a lot more people involved, it definitely makes the team a lot better in general, because it's just not, you just don't hear one name constantly. It's a team game. And that seems to be the way Edgewood's playing. Very team-oriented, team defense,
Yeah, this is a team effort for sure. Anderson's been quiet here in the second half, has not scored yet. There is Carly Sherfield with her 4th point. Lead is 22. And for Cloverdale, a 3-game losing streak. Assuming that unless they make a big comeback here and then they have a week off, they will be at Indian Creek next Friday. Another key division matchup. These division matchups are going to come fast and furious here in the next couple weeks for all the teams.
Yeah, you have those couple games that aren't necessarily, they're all important, but then the divisional ones come, and you really, really need, those games are the ones. If you could choose ones to win, you want to choose those. Very, very important to get something out of those games. Even a good loss, for instance, a close game is something positive, because you don't know who you're going to see later in the tournament.
Yeah, these two teams in different classes, Edgewood 3A, Cloverdale 2A, but they both will play in the Eastern Green Tournament right after Christmas. They are on opposite sides of the bracket, but you never know. They could meet in the consolation or championship rounds. As Edgewood still leads by 20, 5.5 minutes to go. Dangerous pass, and again, it was too much. Haley Thomas stepped out of bounds, and it's Edgewood ball.
It's just that relentless defense. And it doesn't really look, I don't even know if Edgewood's tired yet. They don't look, they don't look tired to me, and they've been running around, going crazy.
No, they haven't stepped off the gas pedal, that's for sure.
No. And then look at this.
And then a beautiful feed from Sherfield to Minnick.
Absolutely wide open. Caught Cloverdale ball watching in their zone, and the person who was supposed to be on that backside just got sucked in too much and did not see just an easy slip.
Wade hits the 3. Taylor Minnick is in double figures now for the 3rd time this year with 11 points. Her best game, 16 against White River Valley and 13 against West Vigo. They're going to call Price for the foul. That's going to be her second.
But even Minnick was open on that. Even Minnick was open. She chose to pass. She could have shot, and that just is very interesting with that Cloverdale defense, because there's some type of zone man thing going on, and it's a mixture, and I can't really tell, which one's going on at which time, and that's kind of hurting them overall.
Cassie Wade's 3 no good. Harrington with the rebound. 4.5 to go.
I think she wanted to bring up the ball there for a second.
Yeah, well, I think every player thinks that they are the point guard. Minnick's going to fire a 3 no good, but when you're
gotta crash those boards.
Carly Sherfield scores 52 to 31. And when you, of course, in today's game, you got guys 6'11" that can handle the ball and bring the ball up, but no, give it to your point guard. Let them bring up the ball.
Exactly. You look at somebody, for instance, like, LeBron James or Luka Doncic. They're big guys. They're big guys, but they're the people bringing up the ball for their team. They're the people bringing up. It's not the 6'5" guy. It's the 6'8", 6'7", even taller.
21 is Michaela Schooling in the game. She's a 5'6" junior for the Mustangs. Edgewood is going to improve to 7-2 on the year. They only won 4 games a season ago as Michaela Schooling scores.
And it's just people are open on that Edgewood team on offense. Cloverdale is getting caught ball watching way too much, especially whenever you run a zone. You always got to be looking around you, and they just are not doing that because it's clearly not the case because they're getting scored on so much from open positions. There was about two people open there on that last offensive possession because you see the backside. If you watch that backside of the zone block, they get sucked in almost to the other side of the key, and that's going to really just hurt you because you could have somebody just sitting there on the backside, and no one's gonna do anything.
Pass for Caden Harrington gets taken away, and then Kara Clark just takes it away from Cloverdale and gets a foul called. Or no, they're going to say it was just...
I think it was out of bounds.
Out of bounds.
Oh, now they're
now it is Cloverdale's ball, so...
And they're sending in the young folks.
Reserves. There's a steal, 2-on-1. Schooling gets blocked to Harrington.
Basket by Harrington.
As she scores, lead is 25 as we are 2:45 to go here.
I mean, intensity is the word I think of whenever I'm thinking of Edgewood right now. Look at that. I mean, they're just bodies everywhere.
That is
timeout taken by the Clovers.
Everywhere.
Cloverdale is going to call a full timeout with 2:35 to go and a lot of substitutions. Well, while we have a minute, we want to thank our crew, the hardworking women and men behind the scenes. Annette Bruner, Noah Baraja, Sam Malloy on the cameras, Nate Alarcon, and Rob Ramsey on the behind the scenes. You and I doing commentary, and we appreciate everything that they do for us throughout the season. And of course, tomorrow night, North Putnam and Edgewood boys-girls doubleheader, so another chance to see this Edgewood Mustangs team and to see if Shelby Anderson continues the hot streak that she had in the first half.
Exactly. Is she going to keep on, making threes at the rate that she did in the first half? She definitely is taking more of a step back role in this second half. Not necessarily shooting as much. She's kind of, I would say, more of a defensive model, along with Sherfield. Just amazing defensive performance by Carly Sherfield. She just has done so much on the defensive side of the ball.
As Veronica Carter, 31, 5'8" sophomore, Abby Bernard, 22, 5'7" senior, in the game for the Clovers. So Coach Langdon emptying the bench. Daphne Ehrman is in for Edgewood wearing 15.
And what's interesting is that you see, look at that, open. It's simple thing.
As Allie Spear puts it in.
You can't ball watch. That's a big thing. And so you just saw a fundamental thing there with Cloverdale is where they got ball watched, or they ball watched and it got sucked over to one side, and a completely open person was just free.
There it is, open for Allie Spear, too strong. Monette with the rebound.
I would say Edgewood can feel really comfortable after seeing a performance like this.
Well, and they get ready for North Putnam tomorrow. They're going to go 1-0 in the Division II, so that's huge going forward.
Personal foul, number 22.
And promising things to come after a performance like this to propel you. And it's important too, sure they're 6-3, but at this point they're getting into the division play.
7-2.
7-2.
Cloverdale will be 5 and
4. Exactly, yeah. And so you see Edgewood have a record like that, and you see it work consistently. So you want to keep doing it. You want to keep on playing defense like this. You want to keep on playing like this because it's successful.
Yeah, it's going to be
Sure, there's 15 fouls this half, but it's successful altogether.
Abby Bernard at the line for Cloverdale, 5'7" senior. Again, Cloverdale is loaded. This roster is all seniors except for 2 sophomores. So it will be a challenge next year that a lot of that losing a big senior class.
Well, that's something that we saw kind of too last year with Edgewood, having that really young team. And, probably not going to do amazing, but that's wherever you learn, you implement those things. You start building that idea in the team so that next year you can really be successful. And I know I've been a part of teams too that, we were terrible. I think we won 2 games a sophomore. We had a coaching change. And, by my senior year, we made it to the regionals. And so there's just that idea of putting in and implementing an idea into a team that you can do with a young team.
And now Coach Langdon is going to empty the rest of the bench. Chloe Sprinkle, a 5'7" sophomore. And
Fletcher in for the Clovers. Along with Chloe Sprinkle.
and then it's Emma Hunter into the game for Cloverdale, number 23. There is a jump ball.
Jump ball goes to the Mustangs.
So Cloverdale will be on a 3-game losing streak. Edgewood's going to actually win 4 in a row. Their last loss was to Linton, 60-37. Their other loss was Bloomington South, 70-22. So, again, the big 4A dogs, always a tough game for Edgewood when they play their county rivals.
And again,
Kara Clark, no good.
the more important thing defensively, you get sucked in, you ball watch, you got to be able to be vigilant, got to always see your back, got to be able to see everything around you because, if you have open people who are right there, what's that? That's not going to help out your team at all.
And the ball is loose, about 5 seconds to go. Jump ball call,
Stays with the Clovers.
and it will be Cloverdale ball. So Edgewood is going to win this 58-32. An impressive win as the shot is no good, and that will do it as the Mustangs victorious 58-32 to improve to 7-2 on the year. As we look at highlights, Cassie Wade hits the 3 for Cloverdale, but then Caden Harrington gets down low inside Edgewood, just did what they want when they want. They got a lot of great ball movement, great passing.
And they're just crashing the boards. They're just getting the ball, getting to the ball before the other team.
Just a total team effort is our final score. Edgewood 58, Cloverdale 32. For all the hardworking women and men behind the scenes, for my partner Jeremy Nutter, I am Nick Jenkinson. We will see you back here in 20 minutes for the boys game on Smithville Sports.